Do you want to become more memorable when you interact with others? If so, then you need to figure out how to be more interesting. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm about to share with you the exact same advice that I give to our clients in our social skills training program. My name is Mike Macapinlac. I help STEM professionals improve their social confidence. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every single week. Learning how to be more interesting will enhance every area of your life. You'll become more fun to talk to and less boring to be around. As a result, you'll get invited to different events more regularly. Not to mention, people will be looking forward to spending time with you as well. That being said, here are 13 actionable tips that you can implement right away. All right, let's get into it. Tip number 1 is to reduce time wasters. I hate to break it to you, but if all you do is go to work, go home, and play video games, then something needs to change. Now, don't get me wrong, I think there's a time and place to stay in and watch Netflix. Every now and then, doing so is a great way to decompress, especially after a long day from the office. But if you want to be more interesting, you have to make time to do novel activities. In order to do that, you have to fight the urge to do what's comfortable. I recommend you cut back on doing things that don't really add value in your life. Remember, we all get the same 24 hours in a day. Once it's gone, you can't really get it back. Time is the one resource that we can make more of, so don't waste it. If you want to become a more fascinating person, free up your schedule so you can try new things. Tip number 2 is to get to know yourself. From what I've noticed, most people who struggle socially don't really feel good about who they are. They often feel inadequate because they compare themselves unfavorably to others. If that sounds like you, and you want to learn how to be more interesting, you need to stop doubting yourself. Get to know who you are and figure out what's interesting about you. In fact, developing self-awareness is one of the best confidence building exercises that you can do. To help you get started, grab a sheet of paper and write down traits that you like about yourself. You can also make a list of your accomplishments and unique things that you've done. Remember, the more you know who you are, the more comfortable you'll feel in your own skin. Tip number 3 is to celebrate your uniqueness. Imagine how boring the world would be if we all do the same thing. That's why you have to accept your individuality. Embrace your quirks because they're a big part of who you are. Instead of just going with the flow, do more things that you're actually interested in. Stop seeking validation from others and start giving it to yourself. Whether you're into coding, comic books, or cosplay, you should own it. Remember, passion is very contagious. It doesn't matter how nerdy you think your interests are. The key here is to talk about them with enthusiasm. When you're excited about something, others can't help but feel the same way as well. Tip number 4 is to keep an open mind. Having a routine is great if you want to get things done. But, as the saying goes, variety is the spice of life. My advice is to be open-minded and become more spontaneous. For example, you can go to a restaurant you haven't been to. You can listen to a genre of music that you normally wouldn't. You can book a flight and travel to a city that you haven't visited yet. Do you see how that works? Stop being so dismissive of new ideas and try novel things more often. By doing so, you'll gain new preferences and expand your perspective as well. Tip number 5 is to develop your courage. Based on what I've seen, most individuals who are boring tend to play it safe. Because they're so worried about what others think of them, they just keep to themselves. That being said, I want to remind you that everything you want is outside of your comfort zone. If you want to figure out how to be more interesting, you have to take more risk. To develop your courage, you have to keep doing things that make you uncomfortable. Whatever you're afraid of, gradually expose yourself to it. For example, let's say you feel anxious in social situations. If that's the case, I recommend you start small. The next time you're out and about, just try to go to smile and say hello to strangers. Once you're comfortable doing that, incrementally make things more challenging for you. Eventually, you'll learn how to not be socially inept. Over time, you'll realize that nothing really bad ever happens when you go for what you want. Another thing to remember is that rejection isn't about you. You have no idea what's going on in people's lives, so don't take anything personally. Tip number 6 is to expand your network. You become the average of who you're around with all the time. That's why it's important that you learn how to be more social and how to be more outgoing. If you want to know how to be more interesting, you have to be able to connect with various kinds of people, diversify your relationships, and hang out with individuals from different walks of life. I encourage you to talk to people who are older than you, members of the opposite sex, and those from other industries. By doing so, you'll gain unique insights that will give you new ways of seeing different situations. Tip number 7 is to have things to talk about. Not knowing what to say is a common issue that I hear from a lot of our clients in our social skills training program. If you're wondering how to be more talkative and how to keep a conversation going, make sure you prepare ahead of time. Think about it. You wouldn't write an exam you didn't study for, right? So why would you go to any social gathering and not have anything to talk about? If you want to figure out how to be more interesting, come up with stories to share. In order to develop confidence in any situation, try to anticipate what most people might be talking about. I also recommend you stay up to date with current events. Before you go out, try to come up with as many stories that you can potentially share. When you do, you'll be a lot more engaging in group conversations because you'll have something relevant to say. Tip number 8 is to acquire new skills. There's really no way around it. If you want to know how to be more interesting, you need to do interesting things. Doing the same activities over and over again won't give you a lot of topics that you can discuss. Remember, a boring life leads to boring conversations. That being said, make an effort to educate yourself and acquire new skills on a regular basis. For example, you can take up dance lessons. You can figure out how to play an instrument. You can also learn to speak another language. Does that make sense? Not only will acquiring new skills make your life more exciting, it'll also give you more things to talk about. You'll be able to relate to a wider range of people, and you'll come across as a high-value person as well. Tip number 9 is to stop ruminating. Most people who are socially awkward tend to replay past mistakes in their heads. Because they never learn how to stop thinking about the past, they beat themselves up mentally. If you're wondering how to be more interesting, you need to get out of your head and be more present in your interactions. In order to do that, I recommend you adopt a meditation practice. All you have to do is to spend a few minutes each day quieting your mind and focusing on your breathing. If you do this long enough, you'll train your brain to slow down and you'll be able to analyze your thoughts better. As a result, you'll feel less anxious and become more relaxed in any social situation. Tip number 10 is to develop your wit. Learning how to be witty will make all your interactions more interesting. When you have a good sense of humor, you'll raise your status in any group. You'll be able to lighten up the mood and make whoever you're with feel good around you. Remember, the element of surprise is a big part of figuring out how to make people laugh. If you're wondering how to be funny, you have to be able to make correlations with subjects that are seemingly unrelated. To help you get started, what you'll want to do is to observe the things around you. And then ask yourself what else it reminds you of. Set a timer and jot down as many ideas as you can. Be playful, use your imagination, and get creative. The more you do this, the more you train yourself to think quickly on your feet. Tip number 11 is to ask interesting questions. Making small talk for introverts is an important skill to develop. At the end of the day, you have to be able to have casual conversations with people you've never met before. But if you want to know how to be more interesting, you can't get stuck there. Instead of just chatting about the weather or the situation you're in, try asking more unconventional questions. For example, you can ask them what's a hidden talent that they have or a skill that they wish they could develop. You can also ask if they could travel anywhere, where would they go and why? Because most people typically don't get asked these questions, it gets them really thinking. As a result, you'll have more meaningful conversations instead of just surface level interactions. Tip number 12 is to improve your conversation skills. As a social skills coach, I've worked with a lot of engineers, programmers, and developers in the past. A mistake that I see a lot of them commit is that they bring up topics that others can't relate to. They also tend to use complicated terminologies that not many people would understand. As a result, most of them typically have awkward silences during their interactions. If you want to learn how to be more interesting, you have to figure out how to interact with people better. For example, the next time you tell a story, make sure it has a beginning, middle, and end. Leave out unnecessary facts and emphasize how things make you feel instead. Also, make an effort to relate and find as many commonalities as you can. By learning how to improve your conversation skills, you'll be able to build rapport with anyone almost instantly. Tip number 13 is to create a bucket list. For most people, their career takes up a significant chunk of their time. If that sounds like you, it can feel like work is the only thing that you do. But if you knew you would die next week, would you regret not doing anything else? If you want to figure out how to be more interesting, you need to have a life outside of your job. That's why I recommend you take the time to create a bucket list. To help you get started, ask yourself, if money wasn't an issue, what would you do? Where would you live? Who would you spend time with? For example, have you always wanted to write a book? Or perhaps you just want to take time off and go backpacking. Or maybe you want to learn how to sing and perform on stage. Whatever it is for you, start jotting down some ideas and actually make plans to do them. At the end of the day, if you want to know how to be more interesting, you have to live a life that you're excited about. If you're shy and technically skilled and you want to know how to approach and talk to anybody, remember to download your free socializing cheat sheet. The link is in the description below. If you're tired of struggling socially and you want to learn more about our social skills training program, book your free consultation today and let's connect. The link is in the description below as well. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who you know who could benefit from it. And now, let's turn it to you. Which one of these tips are you going to implement first? Are you going to work on reducing your time wasters or on creating a bucket list? Leave me a comment below and let me know. Alright, that's it for me for now, and I'll see you in the next video.